Hello, good morning. Respected Dr. Jaminikant Mahatoji, Honorable Member of the UGC, our patron Professor Kiran Hasariga, my co-speakers Dr. Sanjeev Anand, Dr. Ismail Muhammad Zain, my esteemed friend from Assam, Dr. Budin Gogoi, Dr. Mudita Chandana, Dr. Anju Bala Sasa, our coordinator Dr. Sonali Roy, heads of various institutions, departments, faculty members, students, staff, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I would like to congratulate Dr. Jaminikant Mahatoji and his team for organizing this program on a very relevant theme related to higher education. I congratulate Mahatoji and all others who worked behind this initiative. Actually, we all cherish the sweet memories of the ICF annual conference hosted by JK Group and the general hospitality extended to us by Mahatoji and his team. And again, you are giving us an opportunity to come together in the virtual platform. Friends, I will be speaking on the post-COVID-19 challenges for higher education institutions of rural areas. I will try to make a couple of points within the time allotted to me. UNESCO has estimated that over 1.5 billion students in 165 countries are out of education institutions due to COVID-19. India, with the second largest education system in the world after China, has been very severely affected by the pandemic. According to the All India Survey of Higher Education of MHRD, Government of India, there are 993 universities, 39,931 colleges, and 10,725 standalone institutions in the country, with a student enrollment of 37.4. All these education institutions have been closed down, leading to unprecedented crisis. Thus, the pandemic has significantly disrupted the higher education sector, which is a critical determinant of the country's economic future. The impact of closing down education institutions is multidimensional. It leads to several consequences like economic, social, and psychological. It has been argued that the educational reforms in India in the COVID-19 era seems to be a live example of how need truly is the mother of invention or reinvention, allowing education institutions to adopt online learning and infuse a virtual study culture. It has been argued that the pandemic is steering the sector forward with technological innovation and advancements. It is hailed as the first experiment of this type in India with education system and leading to a paradigm shift to the virtual world, blending classrooms with online learning. But friends, things are not as rosy as we think. Experience of many institutions, including my own, prove that the initial excitement of students with online learning is giving way to the realization that it is in no way substitute for classroom learning. Limitations are felt more in the case of disciplines with considerable content of practical learning and laboratory experimentation. These may be grouped as academic challenges or challenges related to online transaction of content and evaluation. In this brief presentation, I am mentioning only some of the non-academic challenges, especially those faced by institutions of rural areas. Number one, obstacles to access to education and the issues of digital divide. In India, of the 993 universities, 394 universities are in rural areas, and 60.53% of colleges are also in rural areas, with majority of students in the category of first generation learners. 84% of schools in our country are also in rural areas. The digital divide between urban and rural population is very rampant. According to Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, TRAI, India's rural population, which constitutes 66% of total population, has an inherent density of 25.3%. For urban population, which is 34% of the total population, the internet density is around 97.9%. This is reflected by other indicators of access to technology also. Only 32.26% of rural primary schools have electricity. 28% schools in rural areas have computers and only 9% internet connectivity. According to National Sample Survey data, only 24% of households in the country have internet. In urban areas, it is 42% and rural areas only 15%. Among the poorest 20% households, only 2.7% have computers and 8.8% have access to internet. The proportion of households with computers varies from 4.6% in Bihar to 23% in Kerala and 35% in Delhi. It has also been estimated that only 8% of the homes with young members in the age group of 5 to 24 years have computers with internet connection. It may be argued that mobile internet penetration is steadily increasing in the country with 622 million internet users in 2019. But people residing in rural areas are still considerably deprived of the latest technology, leading to the denial of online learning. Now, virtual classrooms are not only dependent on e-lectures but also require online access to the e-content and online study material, practice sheet, etc. The digital divide is likely to lead to a decline in gross enrollment ratio GER, which is now only 26.3%. Lack of access to technology for vulnerable groups like SCs and STs will further lower their GER from the present level of 23% and 17.2% respectively. Similarly, the gender bias in digital divide is also of great concern. On a comparative scale, women were 56% less likely to use mobile internet than men. This situation stems from a mix of economic, social, and cultural factors placed against the backdrop of a deeply patriarchal setup of our society. The financial dependence of women and their lower position in the household reduces the likelihood of female students owning such devices. It will adversely affect their GER. Number 2, rising unemployment. The pandemic has led to decreasing employment and income, which will affect higher education in India. Unemployment is likely to reach 30% by the end of 2020. Many graduates already fear that their job offers will be withdrawn, while in the long term, the ability of parents and students to pay education fees will be impacted. This may also impact future admission and enrollment for Indian universities and colleges. Third, co-curricular and social outreach activities. Friends, universities and college campuses are places where students live and study in close proximity to each other. They are also buzzing cultural hubs where students are brought together from different regions and socio-cultural backgrounds. Online co-curricular activities have serious limitation of lack of personalized experience. The e-learning platforms cannot be used as social laboratories for outreach and extension activities. Institution community interface is a common feature of higher education institutions of rural areas which are organically integrated with neighborhoods. These are three major points that I would like to bring to your attention. Now I would suggest a strategy for resolving these issues also. A multi-pronged strategy of crisis-sensitive educational planning is imperative to manage the present crisis and build a resilient Indian education system in the long term. Now, I would like to mention 10 points related to this. Number one, immediate measures are essential to ensure continuity of learning in higher education institutions. Open source digital learning solutions and learning management software should be made available at zero cost or low cost. Number two, inclusive learning solutions, especially for the most vulnerable and marginalized, need to be developed. With a rapid increase of mobile internet users in India, which is expected to reach 85% households by 2024, technology is expected to be ubiquitous and personalized education even in the remotest parts of the country. Third, strategies are required to prepare the higher education sector for the meeting demand and supply requirements globally, especially related to the global mobility of students and faculty and improving the quality of and demand for higher studies in India. Number four, urgent measures are needed to nullify the effects of the pandemic on job offers, internship programs, and research projects. Number five, it is important to reconsider the current delivery and pedagogical methods in higher education by integrating classroom learning with e-learning modes to build a unified learning system. It is also important to establish quality assurance mechanisms and quality benchmark for online learning developed by as well as offered by higher education institutions and numerous e-learning platforms. Number six, ensure adequate mechanism to protect the student, prioritize privacy, and safely store the student's data. 7. Ensure a design for responsible use and to prevent addiction of technology. Number 8. Ensure adequate training for faculty. Number 9. Value-based education is to be integrated with e-learning also. And number 10. Development of a regulatory framework for online education with well-developed protocols of online teaching and learning process. Friends, we can hope that the higher education sector will withstand this turbulent time. In a digital age, universities and colleges can make the challenge of COVID-19 to opportunities for increasing quality, access, and equity. We are all looking with great hope at the regulatory agencies like UGC to take the mantle and lead higher education to achieve these noble goals. With these words, I conclude. I thank you for giving me this opportunity and thank you for being online and listening to me. Thank you.